All right, welcome back to Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brian.
All right, guys. So how are we doing this week?
So Brian, why don't you start off? You had the most exciting week.
Yeah, you did have. What did you do this week? It was pretty exciting.
I did have a great week. School ended.
School ended, okay.
When school ended, it means summer began.
School's out for summer.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic last day of school, which usually, kids look forward to it, but teachers dread. And I was fortunate enough to have my son, Brendan. He donated an awesome last day of school gift.
Cool. What did he get you?
Well, he didn't get me anything.
What did he donate?
He won a Nintendo Switch
What?
through a YouTube giveaway.
Nice.
No way.
Yeah, he did that, and he decided he really didn't want it, and he wasn't going to use it, and he knew that my students, some of them aren't as fortunate as he is, as well off, so he donated it, and it was a big surprise for the kids, and they got to earn raffle tickets, and they got raffle tickets for their fourth quarter grades. How well they worked on their final project, which was a three-dimensional solid castle.
Okay.
And one student out of all 100 students that I have won the final prize, and it was
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. I mean, I was a little nervous about how excited the kids would be about it, but when I kind of actually did the big unveil of what it was, their jaws just dropped. They were pretty psyched because it's like a $200 value.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So so school was out.
That was
and
really cool of him to do.
Wasn't that cool? Yeah,
Yeah.
just donated that. It made me feel pretty good. I was proud of him. It was a good thing. So I guess that would be like my highlight. That's what we did.
That's a great highlight.
Yeah, that was fun. And then got to be done. And immediately, as soon as we got home on Friday, packed up the camper and spent the weekend in Lake Trinidad
Okay.
for Memorial Day weekend, and dealt with pretty much driving rains the entire time. Yeah, just like huge, massive flooding rain. And the entire lake was shut down because of the torrential floods they'd endured like the first, 2 weeks prior. Couldn't even get the boat out. But camping is still fun no matter what.
So when it comes to like lakes like that, is there a way for them to prep for like heavy rains like that to?
No. And I actually talked to the guy there, and I was like, has this ever happened before? And what are you going to do? Because the lake is an absolute mess. I mean, there's just floating debris everywhere. And he said the last time it happened was 2017. And basically, they just wait for the water to go down far enough, and then they just clean up all the debris there. And they said the man hours are like intense.
Wow.
So it's going to be a while till that Lake Trinidad is up for boating again, I think.
Cool. And you mentioned something about having like a nasty bike wreck, right? Or not you. Obviously not too nasty.
I got a couple bumps and bruises, but there are some really good technical, intense downhill and uphill, and it was a lot of fun. And I did have one wipeout, but it wouldn't be mountain bike riding, if you didn't have a little bit of wipeout. So
right.
I enjoyed that. And let me see, we got to go hang out with one of the boys' friends' family was up there too. So that was fun. We played some old NES because we were stuck inside.
Nice. So a little bit of like Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
A little bit of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Could not get past Soda Popinski. He had our number.
How about Tecmo Bowl?
Yep, Tecmo Bowl.
Where you run back like 50 yards and you throw a huge bomb for a touchdown?
I taught Dylan the ways of the long bomb. But we were Los Angeles with Bo Jackson.
Oh, Bo Jackson ran over everybody.
Yeah, so you just do run one, and we were doing pretty good. So, yeah. How about you, Jesse? What was your week like?
My week was pretty simple. Good week at work. Great week with my kids. Aiden had a basketball tournament. It was a fun weekend, but he's definitely got a whole new challenge ahead of him facing high school. And as a father, this is a new challenge for me as well, because he's not some little kid anymore. And not that I have his technical ability or the ability to coach him at all. He's had great coaches his entire youth. So really, I'm just really trying to sort through how I can help in the best ways possible as a father, besides being there, letting him know, man, I love to watch you play. Work hard, play hard. And he does these things. It's just, it's new for me as well. It's a new challenge because I know he wants it. And at the same time, he's got a new game. It's a mental game more than ever as a high school. He's going to be a freshman, and he's dealing with a new level of competition. So it's super exciting to watch as a father. And it's also kind of scary because I'm out of my element. Not that I was ever in it, but really just, talking with others about how do I help him bridge this new piece of his high school sports desire and be there the best way I can for him and help him achieve his goals because he wants it, but it is a new challenge. It is intense. He's going to Cherokee Trail, and I have never seen a school and I'm sure there's tons of them out there. It's high school, but I have never seen a school myself with this level of competition with this many hungry freshmen wanting to play basketball, and that's what he's facing as well is, wow, it's no longer just about technical ability. I got to show this drive, this desire, this want, and really it's been a challenge for me. It's a mind game for me now, too, because I want him to win.
So with that, what I know sometimes we talk about books and stuff. Right?
Oh my God.
So I'm going to bring up a book here. So there's a book that was written by the guy who trained both Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan called Relentless. That might be a good book for him because one of the big things that he talks about in that book is about that mental strength.
All right. I'm going to write that down.
So,
well, and as far as not the relentless and the basketball piece, but with him just starting high school, he does have 3 guys that can kind of show him the ropes of Cherokee Trail.
There you go.
As my 3 sons.
That's
go there,
right, and I mentioned that.
Juniors. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Actually, I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Both of you guys have kids.
Yes, we do.
I'm the one loner.
You're Uncle Noah.
I'm Uncle
for
Noah.
the most part, honestly.
Now let's take a step sideways. Noah, how about your week?
My week, it was okay. Like the work week was well, and the weekend, as far as that went, I moved.
Yeah.
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 And,
exciting.
Exciting, yeah. Like new change, new doors, new opportunities. Anytime one door closes, another door opens. And so I'm looking forward to the new chapter of my life here. Love being closer to 2 of my best friends.
That's nice.
Which is really kind of cool because then I can also spend time with, like hanging out with the boys too and getting to know your kids because I just met them for the first time this weekend.
I know, it's so wild because when I was mentioning to them that, hey, when we get home today, you're going to meet Noah. And at first they were like, oh, we already met Noah. And I'm like, no, you met Noah's mom and his brother. Noah was already back in Utah. And Nathan's like, that's right. I remember you saying that. I'm like, yeah. Speaking of which, the end result, man, they both so far have nothing but great things to say. So
that's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, it was really fun meeting them. So that's how my week went. I do count as far as this will bring up smarter challenges. So smarter challenges. Our default smarter challenge, in case you weren't here, was to go to the gym 3 times. I kind of failed, but in a way I don't think I really did because I did go to the gym twice. I saw my app showing I went twice. But I do count moving as one of them because I didn't ask for any help, so I moved everything all by myself. And as you both know, I lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. So going up and down those stairs multiple times, I felt like I was like on one of those stair steppers. So I kind of feel like I met my goal.
Moving is a workout. That counts. Up and down those stairs absolutely counts.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. How about you guys?
Oh, I nailed it.
You nailed it?
Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Oh, by the way, by nailing, the gym,
Where are you
right?
going with that?
by nailing it.
What did you nail?
What did you know? 24-hour fitness over here.
Yeah.
Super nice, man.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Like, I've never seen a 24-hour fitness look that nice. It's super neat. What I don't like, though, is how they have the free weights and everything upstairs. I think that's kind of weird, but.
Is that the one off of Arapahoe and Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the only
Super
one
sport.
left, I think. Yeah. All the other ones are gone, so.
So there's still a couple like Westminster and Denver, but.
The 2 that I used to go to both got shut down. One was a little one near the movie tavern.
Oh,
okay.
I love that area.
It was great. It was easy in
Yeah.
and out. It was the closest one. And the other one was the one off of Quincy and Parker.
Okay.
Pretty much right there. But I actually got in and did not renew at 24 Hour after all these years. But Aaron and I, years back when 24 Hour Fitness just first started, we bought in right away, and you could pay for like 2 years up front, and you had a lifetime membership for $50 a year.
What?
$50 a year.
Wow.
I pay almost that a month.
Yeah,
No,
$50 a
serious.
year. That's all you had to pay because you were one of the first customers they had. But there's just nothing close now. So now it's just the YMCA for me and the basement.
And you met your goal too, right? You met that goal?
I think so.
Man,
I'm going
you
to
went
count
mountain
it.
biking.
The mountain
Heck
biking.
yeah.
Mountain biking is one. I'll count. Yeah, we got to count that.
I mean, we're above altitude. Lungs were burning, and it
I'm
was.
sure.
I mean, if there's mountain bike fans out there, if you've not done some of the it's the Riley Loop on in Lake Trinidad, it is a great technical ride. It's a beautiful ride. So yes, I say I met your Smarter Challenge as well.
Great. And then we actually had the real Smarter Challenge. Yeah. Smarter Challenges.
Smarter challenges.
Which
Wait a minute.
was...
Before we get too deep into this,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we're forgetting something.
We are forgetting about the
Welcome to
Scotch.
Scotch
Well,
Hour.
we should.
Yeah, welcome to Scotch Hour. Yeah.
The Scotch we chose did have something to do on
we
some
go.
level
On
with
some
the
level.
Smarter Challenge,
Right.
because of the gothic looking
The
line.
gothic looking lion, which obviously is from Game of Thrones
Yes.
and the House Lannister.
Yes.
But we did pick this out because of the lion and how it had that gothic look to go with the Smarter Challenge being
Plus all the
about vampires.
bloodlines in Game of Thrones. It was all about bloodlines.
exactly all about bloodlines. And I
about
know where you're going with
bloodlines.
that. That's foreshadowing there.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, which our Smarter Challenge was to investigate and learn more about vampires,
vampires.
vampire movies, the history of vampires.
To choose our favorites. Which
Choose our
ones do we
favorites.
do
Top
as
three,
the
right?
best?
Movies.
Yeah.
Three.
I got my top three. I
Okay.
got three. I want
Nice.
to talk about.
Okay, good. All right. So
All
what is the Scotch on the docket? Since I
All right.
Forgot
since
about it.
Brian is newer to our podcast and made us a delicious steak dinner.
yes,
this
we'll have to
evening,
talk about dinner too.
which we'll talk about, yes, very momentarily. He loves a great peaty Lagavulin Scotch. So we went with the Lagavulin 9 because we're saving the Lagavulin 16 for fathers.
I
They are
drink and know
father-
things.
It's so true.
I drink and know things.
And with that,
It's
so
a Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Game of
okay.
Thrones.
I missed
we
that one.
got the Lagavulin 9 House Lannister edition here.
The House Lannister. This is where Jaime Lannister and his sister they have sexual relations,
I think they made
Yes.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
and then they have like an imp for a brother. The
Yeah.
midget guy.
yes.
That's probably not PC anymore. It's like midget, but
Yes, they called him that, I think. in
like
the-
little people
Little
or whatever you
people.
call them now. I don't know what they call them.
beautiful little people.
But in any case, he drinks a lot in the TV show, and he says that he drinks and knows things.
The little person.
The little
Oh, and that's where that came from.
Yeah, Tywin
know,
Lannister.
I tried to get Aaron hooked on Game of Thrones.
Did you?
Stormtrooper.
And one cube, yes, the Stormtrooper cube. Thank you very much.
And he made it in the cups. I don't know how he made it. He
Like
made it
the
in his cup
Stormtrooper.
twice with the Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
How's the? I don't see how that
Stormtroopers
happens.
couldn't do it.
Darth Vader doesn't have the same aim. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
All
But
right, we're going for Darth.
She did not get in, and she loves to read like fantasy books and kind of the medieval type of fantasy books, and she just didn't get hooked on it.
Really? Did she try reading the book? Or
No,
a
we just
movie?
tried watch. We watched a couple of
Other
shows, so
shows.
that's why I was able to actually follow what you were talking about. Because I did see the scene with them up in the castle, the brother and the sister,
Yeah.
doing things they should not do. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Doing
the
things they
little,
should-
the
They're
little,
adults.
yeah, yeah, incest.
Who are
Pretty
we
sure it's
to
illegal.
judge?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty sure that's not.
Even in those days.
All right.
With this
So
went
supposedly,
really south really quick.
family show. We haven't said anything too bad yet.
No, I don't think so.
All right, I think you're gonna like this, Brian.
Cheers.
Noah,
Yeah. Cheers.
cheers.
It's got some nice
Oh,
beats.
it's actually got amazing peat, better
I can smell
then-
it.
than I expected for a 9-year.
And some smoke. You got some smokiness.
Oh yeah. Some people would call that the smell of a Band-Aid. Don't want.
Was
No,
that
don't put that in my head, because really everything you guys say goes right into my head, and I'm like, yeah,
Well,
I
then
smell the
this
smoke.
is a little bit of
was that? Oh
heaven.
yeah, Jamie there celebrating. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jamie Lannister. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Showing his O face. Oh.
What is that from?
Your sons are gonna really start enjoy. It's from Office Space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I haven't
Showing
seen
the
that
O
movie.
face?
That might
You
have to
seen
be
that?
a smarter challenge.
That might have to be.
I've never seen that one.
Oh
good
my
movie.
goodness, it is a good movie. I've got a printer upstairs that we can take out to the field.
Oh yeah, we got to do that one.
I've
show.
never, you know what?
record
That's
that.
with Dane Cook, right?
No,
Oh, it's not with Dane Cook. Oh, okay.
Jennifer Aniston is.
Jennifer Aniston's in it. I don't know who the other guys are.
All right, the nose on this, peaty, a little smoky,
I get the smoke. I get the peat.
I would say almost kind of tobacco-y,
a little tobacco, almost leather.
almost leather. Maybe like a hint of like wet moss. Maybe.
You were just camping. You would be the judge.
Yeah, you would be the judge.
Definite. I would be the judge. It was wet. It was wet everywhere. It was wet, water, rain.
A bad day camping is still better than a good day working, right?
Mm.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
Mhm.
A little warm, but not too hot.
Little, just a bit. But for me, I mean, the comparison is that the Lagavulin 16 that we tried post production of last week's episode, and
You can't tell people that. They can't know what we do after.
and it was. I mean, this is good. This is good, but I mean, it's the same. Only, you know, it's a
It's
little bit
no
hotter.
16.
Yeah,
It's
it's no
young.
16.
It's young.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
so
us, smooth.
I think over at so once again, we are over at Total Wine where we picked this up,
Yes.
and you were asking about the 8, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The 9 and the 8 are kind of like it's no 16.
Yeah. Well, and I actually, you know, to just kind of expose my ignorance, I had no idea that Scotch is actually a whiskey. I thought whiskey was completely different from Scotch. Whiskey, bourbon, Scotch were 3 different things, but they're not. They're all different versions of whiskey.
That's
Just
correct. Yes. It's like Speyside and
Well, we learned
And
about you taught me about
Highlands.
Highland,
You're talking about
Highland.
regions.
Yes.
So in case for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, they're talking about
Isla,
Yep.
spelt
Islay.
Islay. Yeah.
Yeah, so Speyside is part of the Highlands. Highlands are not necessarily part of Speyside. However, this is from
It's Isla.
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 Lagavulin 16
good.
is
It's
better,
good.
but this is good.
It's good.
Great yellow, golden color. Finish is a little bit smoother than it starts. I think part of the heat isn't so much heat as it is that cinnamon flavor.
Does have a nice gold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and once again, the color difference with the 1 cube versus the no cube.
Yeah.
I'll have to. I think I need to next time have sampling of both the ice and
I
the
highly
pot.
recommend it.
Yeah.
For
It almost
me-
has a nice little sweetness on the back end.
Yeah. For me, Brian, a scotch that is a sweeter varietal is great with ice. It brings out the sweet flavor.
Be careful,
However,
that thing will go.
however, something peaty
I think I can keep
and
mine up.
smoky. No
Yeah,
ice.
you didn't want to go
No
in during
ice.
the show.
Keep it warm.
Keep it peachy.
All right, so we've gotten the Scotch introduction out of the way. Lagavulin 9-year Isla single malt Scotch.
Game of Thrones. It's
Game of
special,
Thrones.
Special edition.
House Lannister. So Noah and I have spoken previously. Noah, what house are you if you would associate yourself with one?
Oh, I think I mentioned.
Stark?
No, it wasn't Stark.
Oh, the Larian?
Yeah, it was. Which one was it? I did say Lannister would have been one of them.
These are all the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Who
House Targaryen.
who would
House
the house
Targaryen, yeah.
be for the Aquaman guy?
The
He's
Aquaman
not
guy.
one of the houses.
He's not one of the houses.
I
That's
know,
Marvel.
But, no, I know, but he's in it.
Yeah, he's like the roaming horseman guy.
Yeah. I'd be that house. That's who I would hang with.
You'd be like the barbarians who can't speak English and go around like, yeah, okay.
What house was that? Was that Targaryen or
It was
that,
Targaryen.
Okay, there you go.
You're talking about the House of the Dragon.
Yes. I'm still
that
sticking
Daenerys.
House Lannister, man.
The Lannister always pays their debts
That's right.
and commits incest. But they drink and know things.
I drink and I know things.
I would lean towards that house just because the little guy. He was awesome.
Actually, the little
was
guy,
awesome.
Tyrion Lannister was my favorite character.
Is he not in Pixels?
He might have been, but I know he was in one of the Avenger movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when Thor lost his hammer,
That's right.
and he makes the axe.
That's right.
They go to that planet or whatever, and he makes that axe.
Oh,
Makes all the weapons for the gods. Yeah.
that was him.
That was him. He, like he says, he drinks and he knows things.
Yeah. Famous, of course, for many reasons now. The guy is actually a phenomenal actor and a great person. Like many actors, he struggled to get a real beginning,
Yeah, he did.
but didn't give up.
No, he didn't.
Respectable.
He was. I'm pretty sure that was the guy in Pixels, and it's a great movie.
All right.
Have you not seen this movie?
I have not. I know it's
I
about
haven't
80s
either.
video games.
It is
though.
about 80s video games, and you can't go wrong with that. My boys watched it with me. Went to the theater and saw it, and he goes by the name the Fire Blaster
All right.
in that movie, and he is the champion of Donkey Kong.
There you go. So I want to mention another movie he's in,
Don't
which
like
is
Donkey
even better.
Kong.
Elf.
He's an elf.
He's an elf.
Oh yes.
Runs
he's
across the
angry-
table.
I never liked that movie.
What?
Oh, but that part you got it.
How do you not like Elf?
It's got Will Ferrell.
I know. I don't.
You don't like Elf.
It's Christmas. Do you not like Christmas?
Okay. Is there a better Christmas movie than Elf?
Jingle All the Way?
No.
Is that with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I don't think I've seen that. They're fighting over a toy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Elf.
No,
Elf with-
actually, for Christmas movies, I always liked Laurel and Hardy's Babes in Toyland or
It's a Wonderful Life. That's a good
no, It's a Wonderful Life. White Christmas.
White Christmas. That's a decent
Mine
movie.
are all those like claymation.
Yeah, those clay.
stop anim. I love those. Those are great. Like Rudolph the
Yeah.
Red-Nosed Reindeer.
How come they don't show them on TV anymore?
Oh, they still do.
Do they?
They're on like the Hallmark Channel or something.
Because Elf
Oh.
is better.
Elf is not better.
Elf is
Elf
better.
is a great movie.
Actually, I prefer my Santa Claus story when I teach life insurance class.
Yes, we're going to stick away from that. Grandma has been slaughtered enough times.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
It's
story.
not grandma.
Grandpa.
It's grandpa.
Well, one of Noah and I, one of our first times getting in trouble back in second grade, dealt with Santa Claus. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
Santa Claus in a little red suit.
Little red suit. It was just absolutely hilarious to the two of us. Our teacher, Miss Griego.
Yeah, Grego.
Miss Griego, I think, was
Griego,
reading
Griego, something like that.
a Christmas poem. And
I thought it was a
talked-
spelling test.
maybe it was a spelling test. Okay. And she talked about Santa Claus's little red suit. And
Oh,
both
no.
Noah and I were like, how could it be little? He's quite obese. And we just could not stop laughing. And I think
That's
that was the
true.
first time we were ever kept in for recess.
Yeah, that was like the first of many.
The first of many.
Of,
And that was the last year that we were allowed in the same class. We were separated.
yes, we
after
were
that.
like there was like a whole
The
thing.
school actually separated you guys.
Yes,
Yes.
It was well known that they were not supposed to put us in the same class ever again.
This
Yeah.
is serious.
Like I think they
Noah
did,
was ruining my potential.
No kidding.
yeah. We'd sit in. I'm even admitting
Would have
to
been
it. I was
Kobe
like, yeah.
and Ryan.
Yeah,
Noah's over here. Check.
Yep.
Not
That's
gonna
me.
happen.
We'd sit in like on recess, and I'd go like this, trying to make farting noises, or I go.
And and they would come in and
And
give us
Brian'd be like-
another detention.
And Brian's like, "You gotta stop."
Yeah. I was
And then there's the
good one.
flying taco.
That's a story for another day.
Sorry,
That's
for another
a
day.
story for another episode.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't throw food. So that is a perfect time
There
for
was
a tangent.
there was no food.
That's a
thrown.
perfect time for a tangent.
To talk about the dinner,
The dinner.
the food.
Yes.
And the food.
It was phenomenal.
It
Good.
was outstanding.
Thank you. Yeah, we thought it would be appropriate. since
Chef Brian here.
The Smarter Challenge was vampires. vampires being meat eaters, being
Right.
carnivores. We enjoyed a nice
Cabernet.
medium rare
Medium rare
on the rare side
on the rare
of a
side.
nice steak. We got our
It was
steaks from
perfect.
King Supers. Wish they were on sale.
Kroger, if you're not from Colorado, you're
Yeah.
gonna have King's
We got got a good cut of meat. Jesse enjoyed the boneless ribeye.
Yes, it was
Whereas
fantastic.
that was the last boneless ribeye left on the shelf. And
I actually preferred the bone.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, Noah and I both enjoyed the bone-in ribeye.
I prefer my boneless.
I actually like to gnaw on the bones.
Yeah. I mean, we carved every last bit of meat off of those steaks. There
Yeah.
was nothing but gristle and fat and bone when we were done.
It wasn't just the steak though. Asparagus.
Oh, yeah,
Jeez.
that's
Yes,
Sure.
yeah. We used my my wife's recipe, which is baked asparagus with a nice balsamic vinaigrette, kind of a soy sauce, buttery
Thank you, Aaron.
drizzle.
Yes.
Thank you, Aaron. we had to call and check in a couple times to make sure we were doing it right, and I thought they came out good.
Yeah, they came out
really
great.
well. Yeah,
Outstanding. The asparagus cooked flawlessly.
I enjoyed it.
Tasty, very good.
Crispy, but not undercooked. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, initially I thought maybe I felt like it, but no, it was that was like the.
It was perfect.
I mean, not to say that it was better than when Aaron does it, but it was
I
pretty
mean,
good. It
it
came out
was-
pretty good. And
You can't recover from that.
no, it was good. It was delicious.
It really was perfect. Thank you, Aaron, for sharing your recipe with us, for coaching us along the way. Brian, you did cook the steaks
Phenomenal.
phenomenal. I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know,
great.
I don't have a
Hey,
better
you know
word.
what? That was like 5 stars compared to what we had last week.
That's what I was going to bring up.
There
Was
you
the
go.
service. Zero complaints about service.
Zero
on this
complaints
one.
on the service.
Everybody was
Like-
very helpful. If I needed something, Jesse was on the spot.
Jesse, yeah, I wasn't really on the spot because I was like the little Japanese guy going
I don't think you can say
taking
that.
pictures.
I don't think.
Hey, I am part Japanese. I can
Okay,
say
that's
that.
right. He
Okay,
is.
there you go.
It's
There you
legit.
go.
It is legit. I am a quarter Japanese, so a quarter of me is going.
Noah was our photographer for the evening. Great shots. You guys are getting to enjoy them throughout this.
It
Nice
may not actually make it part of this podcast. We might have to do like a supplementary type of like video or like thing about like our pre-cooking.
I think
Yeah.
you could work it in with your editing.
At the end of the
magic.
season,
I
they'll
think
be
it'll
in our
you can
summer
slide
cookbook.
that in.
It will be in our summer cookbook for sure.
Yeah, it's a good recipe. But I tell you what, I was nervous. I mean,
What?
cooking on another man's grill.
Oh, yes.
That was
Never
kinda
rub another
nerve-wracking.
man's rhubarb.
Yeah, never rub it, and never. I mean, you don't even know the hot spots. Jesse was good though. He knew
Yeah.
the hot spots. He told me he had the grill all set up, and I was able to navigate around it. Worked out well.
You did perfectly. It was great. I actually wasn't afraid at all of you touching my grill.
I tried to be gentle.
Thank you. You were, for sure.
Did you guys not? Do you guys not remember that line? Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Nope.
Yes, I do remember that. I can tell you exactly what it's from.
What is it?
It is from Jack Nicholson in Batman.
Yes.
Ooh.
Boom.
Boy, that was a good Batman.
Strawberry
A
rhubarb
lot of
pie,
people.
huh?
I mean, the newer Batmans with Christian Bale. I think
Christian Bale
that
did
was
a great job.
I thought
was
you did a
pretty
good job.
But the original Batman, when it first came out, do you remember how psyched you were when that movie was coming out?
so
That was
Michael
that-
Keaton?
yes.
Oh, absolutely. With Jack Nicholson, and he was half the reason.
It was a
Exactly.
great. I read the book before the movie.
Kim Basinger was a part of it, too.
Yeah,
back then.
everything about it was really good. And I mean, like Prince did the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look back on it now, and
It's
it
it's a little bit more cartoony and
it's
cheesy,
a little
but
more hokey compared to the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know, with Christian
Still,
Bale.
when you think about the
but
mansion.
back then it's good.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Well, you think about the mansion he lived in compared to his following Batman. His was great. He had those suits of armor, that table that
Yeah.
was ridiculously long. He presented a much more believable build.
And Michael Keaton did a good job as
He
Batman.
did.
There were some doubts because he was coming off of like Mr. Mom or something, you know, and they're
Gung
like,
ho.
Which he
yeah,
also
they're
did great at.
yeah, like okay, that's Batman, but he pulled it off. He's
Yeah,
pretty.
he did a good job.
However, today's generation, they don't appreciate Michael Keaton as Batman. My sons were like, no, that is not Batman.
Physically, he doesn't fit the bill anymore.
No, but in the mask, and that was the other thing they really kind of got on about that Batman was the fact that his neck couldn't move. His costume always had to look like this.
I could see them making fun of that.
Yeah, they do. They tend to kind of beat up on some of my 80s movies that I love, but I make them watch all of them.
That's a good call. And also challenge them maybe to make a bullet-resistant suit themselves where they can move their neck.
Yeah, good luck with that. That's one of the reasons that we did have the 3 children, though, is they're designed to do great things in science, and I'm still waiting. They need to create the.
I love it. I love it.
The Star Trek scanner that just heals you.
Yes.
I have so many broken ligaments and tore up stuff from mountain biking and crashing.
Well, there's supposedly technology out about that can do that. It's called med beds.
I've heard of them.
There's some people believe that they're actually out there, and some people believe it's a hoax. But supposedly they're available.
Let me just say, honey, Father's Day is coming up, and I want a med bed. That you can just lay in and you just wake up.
Yeah, kind of like did you ever see like
Get him a bottle of Lagavulin 16.
Did you ever see the
yes
the sequel to Prometheus?
So good.
Not Prometheus, but the sequel to it, or it might have been Prometheus, where the old guy, he's in that med bed. That's actually a med bed.
Yeah,
and they're supposedly real, according to some people.
Well,
tinfoil hat stuff.
We just watched a movie camping, Wanted, with Angelina Jolie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
And actually, it stood it's like 2008 is when it came out.
Oh, that was a while ago.
That's a long time. I mean, 13 years now. Carry the one. But I mean, like all the special effects and the acting and the music. It was Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
And even the boys had to admit, they're like, 8 out of 10. They thought it was pretty good.
That's awesome.
But the reason it made me think of that was because they had a healing bed also.
Oh,
They just mostly laid in a pool of wax.
Yeah,
or something.
hot wax or something.
Hot wax, which I might try that too. I don't know. if
Good for
work.
the skin.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get too far off track here, we're like halfway through our show. We got to do the Smarter Challenge,
Yes. All right.
Vampire. So we'll start with you, Brian, since it seems like you might have done a little bit more research than us.
Well, when the torrential rains were flooding down and we were stuck inside, we had actually better LTE at Lake Trinidad than we have at our own house. So I was able to open up the old phone and check out vampires in Wikipedia. And what I found out is there was a very real vampire fear in about 18th century, Eastern Europe, where it was like a thing. Like they really had, prominent kings and queens and, priests and declarations of these things are, whether they're real or not real. There was some debate, and eventually they were proven to not be real. But what I understood is a lot of it was just because of their kind of simplistic lack of knowledge about human decay. And, when a body would kind of swell up, their logic was it was leaving the coffin at night and feeding, and thus swelling. And when air would come out of the body, later on they would hear a moan, thus thinking it was the living dead.
Living dead, okay.
So it was interesting to hear that I mean they're completely fictional, they're completely mythological at this stage. But there was a time when, because they didn't really understand the science behind death and human decay, and they even said that occasionally some people were accidentally buried before they were dead, and thus there were claw marks on the inside of the coffin.
Well, isn't that why they had the little bells?
I don't know.
So there's this old theory that they call it Saved by the Bell and Dead Man Ringing. And if you had enough money when they buried you in the coffin, and I heard this on a dark tour, haunted tour in Philadelphia, the gentleman, great tour guide, shared this with me. I want to do it again so badly. I'm looking forward to it.
Where was it?
It was in Philly.
Oh,
dude,
cool.
Philly, I had the best time ever. It's one of my favorite vacations of my life.
How did you get out to Philly?
Flipped a quarter at Noah's mom's wedding's post morning and hopped on a plane.
And whose suggestion was Philly?
How could you see the quarter post Noah's mom's wedding? I can't even imagine. You must have woken up about 2 in the afternoon. Because you had a great time post Noah's mom's wedding.
I had such a good time. But no, we were up at like 8.
Yeah, we were up pretty
I
early.
think I was the only one that was walking straight too, ironically.
Well, at least you weren't sitting there dancing with like your thumb in your shirt going like this.
Who was doing
oh,
that? Was I?
sad story. So, not me, not you, not Noah.
I actually got some props. Your one of your uncles, Sonny? No.
I don't know. Maybe there's Sonny, there's Roy, there's Kenny.
Kenny. It was Kenny.
No.
I'm sure it was Kenny.
It wasn't Kenny. No,
I remember waking
was
up
Sonny.
and
It was
running
Sonny. He actually gave me some props because we were doing some dancing out there, and he looked to my sons and goes, "Man, your dad's got some rhythm," and that gave me some street cred. I was like, "Yes, thank you. I'm cool." He made me cool for a night.
For a
He
night.
made me feel cool.
Nice.
Okay, so
back
anyways,
to Philly.
back to Philly.
Philly and the bell.
Yes.
Annabelle.
So if you yellow fever happened and occurred, and if you were buried and you had money just in case you might still be alive, because the reports are that 2% of people who were buried were still alive, yellow fever slowed down your heart rate and your breathing to the point where you could look dead. And they would bury these individuals, and if you had the money, you would tie a string to your toe in the coffin, have it sticking outside, hang it over a stick so that if you did wake up in the coffin and moved your foot because you realized you were buried, the bell would ring and they would come quickly excavate you, save you, unearth you, if you will, and bring you out of the ground.
I wonder how many times that bell got rung.
I would imagine a few because it didn't only happen there; it happened in Europe too.
It was actually bigger in Europe, but this was the Philly haunted tour, and I don't know how true it is. There's a lot of people who say that has nothing to do with it, that wasn't real at all. However, there are a lot of ties to a century earlier in Europe that was real.
Yeah.
To your point, where your time period you're talking about, where in Europe they were truly terrified that vampires might exist.
You know, the bell thing, it reminds me, it's like an early precursor to like life insurance.
So they
You
also
can use that in some of your classes.
I might be able to work that in
You gotta
there.
work that in. Vampires and how it relates to life
Yeah,
insurance.
I might. Now I'm gonna have to
The
come up with
wealthy,
one.
paid for life insurance so that they could stay alive by ringing the bell.
you need to take the Philly haunted tour because they have so much.
Dude, we need to do another. We need to do another Philly trip.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we didn't travel together there, but like I had a blast in
We
Philly.
need to do a Philly trip.
Oh, that would be
4 days, 3 nights.
that'd be off the hook.
I
There is so much to do.
sounds good to me. The haunted tour sounds really good.
Yeah, the haunted tour, Eastern State Penitentiary is a freaking. That's a heck
That's
of a
cool.
tour.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
You still need to stay closer to home and check out the
Stanley?
horror
Horror bar.
horror bar.
horror bar.
That's closer to home.
Yeah, that's
check
close.
that
Yeah,
out
we can
without
definitely check
All right.
plane tickets.
Yeah.
So again, we so many tangents. I love them, but to keep online. So you talked about, you had some research, you found out there were some valid concerns. This was a real fear in Europe.
Well, it even like some of the the legend that is around today. You can see where it comes from people's lack of knowledge. Like when you die and your gums recede, therefore you look like you have more fangs. And it's not that your hair continues to grow when you die. I don't think it's that. There was something about that too, about the hair continuing to grow. Thus, they thought people were still alive. So so vampires, while now are just completely mythological, back then there was a genuine fear about
All
it.
right, so I'll bring in my tinfoil hat here.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
What are your favorite 3 movies?
Okay.
And tinfoil hat.
Do you want to go tinfoil hat and then jump into
No,
movies?
Jump into your. Well, we can go either way.
Go tinfoil.
All right.
Do your tinfoil.
That's a good That's a good route.
good tinfoil. Okay,
The hat is yours.
the tinfoil hat. You know, one of these times I should probably just get a tinfoil hat and just put it on.
We need to have one of those.
Yeah,
We'll have to
we do.
make one.
Yeah, we will. One of these times.
We'll fabricate something for the next one.
Yeah, I think we should. So, anyways, tinfoil hat theory here is that it does go back to royalty and going all the way back, and how the royalty used to drink the blood of young people to stay young. And there's supposedly 13 bloodlines that basically ruled the world. That would be kind of like what we might call the Illuminati, or the people who head the deep state, or whatever you want to call it. And they are the ones who are behind the human trafficking and harvesting adrenochrome. And adrenochrome, the way they make adrenochrome supposedly is there's a ritual where they get little kids because the adrenal glands in children, when you scare them, shoots the adrenaline up really bad on them, and they slice the bottom of their feet and drain the blood out from the bottom of their feet, and that's where they drink the blood from.
So there's a lot of little kids with scarred feet.
Oh no!
Oh no, they're dead.
Oh no!
Oh, they die.
They die. They kill them. So so this is the this goes all the way back to like early 1500s, whatever, royalty and stuff like that. Start going all the way back towards Vlad the Impaler. So,
but not going on anymore.
No, still going on today.
Still going on.
Yeah. So if you start researching,
how do they cover up these missing sliced feet children?
So if you start looking into like the deep state and start looking into human trafficking and all that, that's all part of it.
Human trafficking. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the tinfoil hat theory in a real quick nutshell, since we're kind of running a little bit short on time. And the only reason that kind of reminded me of the tinfoil hat theory is that we watched Blade last night.
Yes, we did.
And they talked about, in order for them to bring up the blood god, you needed 12 purebloods, 12 pureblood vampires, and then the Daywalker, which is Blade, 13 bloodlines. And then in there, they talk about, Deacon Frost talks about how humans are just nothing but cattle in food supply.
I remember that part of it, yeah.
And if you go look at, on the CIA website, there's a PDF book called The Committee of 300, which kind of breaks down the Club of Rome and all that stuff and the 13 bloodlines. And they talk about how humans are nothing but useless eaters, no better than animals. I don't know.
So they're still vampires, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're not vampires like how we learn about them through mythology.
Yeah.
But yes. So,
all right.
I brought a Blade. So,
nice. And the tinfoil hat is off.
The tinfoil hat is off. Now we'll talk about movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Top 3 vampire movies.
Top 3 okay. Top 3. For me, I'm gonna get a lot of grief from the boys, my boys, because my favorite all-time vampire movie is The Lost Boys.
Nice.
Love The Lost Boys. Great soundtrack. I can listen to that soundtrack in the
great 80s movie.
Strange. They got the Doors in it. Well, I think it's like Echo and the Bunnymen doing the Doors or something.
Yes.
But it's
Corey Feldman,
Corey Haim, Jason Patrick, some pretty big actors. He was in like Speed 2 or something. And I forget the name of the girl, but her name is Star in the movie. And I always had a big crush on her. I thought she was pretty hot. So that's my top one. But the boys really had an issue with it because they felt that the fangs on the vampires were in the wrong place.
Yeah, more central.
Yes, they're too central. They're too much to the center, and it really irritated them
because they weren't the canines.
Yeah, they weren't on the canines. They were one in or something.
Yeah.
So they had a hard time with that. But that was my number one. So I'll stop at number one and let you guys kind of share your number one.
All right. So my number one is going to be the traditional number one that most people will have on their list, which is Nosferatu.
That's your number one.
That is my number one.
You just watched that recently, right?
Actually, I've seen it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, I when I was at the University of Colorado, I took a German Film and Society class, and
Boris,
huh?
Is the actor Boris? Somebody?
You talking about Max Schreck, the actual guy?
Was that the guy who played
the guy who was totally perfect for creeper status?
Yeah, creeper status.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we watched in German Film Society. Basically, we watched all the like silent movies from the 1920s because really at that point in time, the German film industry rivaled that of Hollywood, and so we watched a bunch of movies from Murnau, who was the director, and so just knowing like how he did that movie back then. And how close it stayed kind of like to like how it just like influenced so many other vampire movies. I do have to give it the number one spot.
That's your number one. Okay.
All right, Nosferatu, great. Noah and I did recently watch this together. I agree with what you said as far as giving it a claim to everything from Salem's Lot to probably almost every vampire movie out there has used some piece of it, straight up from a vampire standing from a horizontal position to a vertical position, just coming up, and his face, like Salem's Lot stole that. Absolutely great movie. Scared the dickens out of me, man.
Salem's
As a
Lot
kid,
scared the
I still haven't seen it.
dude,
You've never? Oh my gosh!
now it won't scare you at all.
Do you remember that the knocking on
Yes.
the window? I was
Oh,
on
yeah.
the second story.
Yeah.
Near Arvada West when I lived in those apartments, and I was so afraid. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
That was a made-for-TV movie. You got
Yeah.
to see it on television.
Yeah, scared the Dickens out of me.
Yeah.
So, Charles Dickens reference, by the way. So, with that, I am very scientifically inclined. I love watching movies I believe are more believable. Whereas that is absolutely great. It doesn't do it for me in a sense of this could really happen. So my number one actually goes to the other movie we watched, Blade. The reason for this, not only was it great entertainment, not only was the trilogy great entertainment, Ryan Reynolds, young, before
He
was
wasn't
a
even in
hot
that
shot.
one.
Not the first
Blade
one,
2.
but the
Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
In the trilogy.
Wait, no, you have to pick number one.
He's in
Not
number-
trilogy.
yeah.
You can't pick a trilogy. You can't pick a trilogy. You got
I'm
to pick
not
number
picking
one.
the trilogy. I'm picking number one, but number one for the point of scientifically, they go into the basis of it's a virus. It is not some unbelievable good versus evil versus mythological thing. It's an actual virus that impacts these people, gives them a bloodthirst, changes their desire. You could say it's much like rabies. It's completely believable where all of a sudden you have Cujo, a dog, a bunny, a wolf, infected by rabies. They go rabid and they are just attacking things like would really be a real life zombie. That if you want to talk about what's the closest thing to zombies, it's not COVID, which is the flu. It's not any number of things. It is a rabies, which makes people lose their mind. And with that, Blade really talks about how it's a virus and it is something that is potentially curable, which I believe. With that comes this whole piece of science. I think that it goes into a more, for me, scientifically believable
All right,
version.
I'm going to cut you off there.
All right.
Or wrap it up in 1 minute because we're at 47
No,
minutes.
man, we're good. That's just it. To me, it's scientifically
Okay.
plausible.
There's another
Level-
movie like
number
that. Well, this isn't number two, but like there's an Ethan Hawke movie, Daybreakers.
Yes.
Or something
We actually
that's
talked
similar.
a lot about that.
We did talk about this yesterday.
Yeah, that goes with your. Well, it's they kind of vampires.
And
or-
Ultraviolet.
Yes.
There's another one that talks about a virus.
Which I'll just throw it out there. That's my number two. It's not some necessarily great movie, but totally
Ultraviolet
believable.
is your number two.
Ultraviolet.
Number 2.
Okay, so that's
Wow.
your
Number 2.
What's your number 2?
Oh gosh, for me. Okay, honestly, for like joy of watching, for just sheer pleasure that I enjoy watching, not about there's not a rationale about science or believability. Fright Night.
Fright Night was good.
I loved
Okay.
Fright Night. It was a really good movie. It had Vincent Price. I think. Did it not have Vincent Price?
Yeah.
He did an introduction piece.
Something there. And but I did a little research on it, and then I had to bring this up because I had no idea. There's 2 Fright Nights. I knew this. There's 2 of them. There's
Yes.
a 2011. There's a 1985, I think. And we would have missed it, obviously, because in 85, we were like 11
We're
years
all in
old.
5th grade.
We're all in 5th grade. But apparently there was some sort of like kind of homoerotic.
I don't get it.
I didn't see it.
I
But
didn't understand
Because
either.
like the main vampire is after the guy's girlfriend.
Yeah, I had no idea. But in researching my, I came up with a list that there you can Google search the top 50 vampire movies, and they classified this as the gayest vampire movie.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because it
yeah, I'm
never
gonna have
occurred
to.
to me.
Did
I mean,
you-
I didn't see
did you
like
ever-
I didn't see it at all either, but interestingly enough, one thing I did see when I was doing my research was that the 1980s were the most sexually free movies, the most nudity, the most sex involved in
I
those
would've thought
movies
that
as
would've been the 70s.
vampires. No, the 80s and the 70s, even
Okay.
though everything was free love, 80s brought it to TV.
So just to keep us on track, My number
We are so
two.
far off track.
My number two is What We Do in the Shadows.
I love it. I love it.
Do in the shadows.
Yes. So.
Oh wait, that's the like the mockumentary or something. Is
Yes,
it
it's a mockumentary where.
Yeah, I've
British.
never seen it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's just like the day-to-day doldrums of
of being a
just-
vampire,
yeah.
and then they get into like a brawl with werewolves and
Yeah.
stuff. It's hilarious. I like.
Slap fight, basically.
There's another movie.
There's also a TV show that they did a spinoff of
yeah
it.
yeah.
I'm gonna say my list is not necessarily the typical 1, 2, 3, because they got that one on there, and it's a good. It has great rewatchability to it. You can watch it over and over again. So keep it rolling. What's number? Who wants to do number?
I did
number
too.
three?
We all did our number. So
We
I
all
got,
did number
I got
two. You
Lost
got
Boys. I got Fright Night, and you've got
Yeah, I got Nosferatu and What We Do in the Shadows.
I've got Blade, Ultraviolet, and then this one is not so scientific, but it is absolutely the most enjoyable to watch for me, and that is Dracula Untold.
That is a good one.
Is that the one about Vlad the Impaler?
Yes.
Okay.
And for me, it is really all about the emotion that is involved in it. There was supposed to be a lot that went on with the whole dark monster world with the mummy and Dracula that never unfolded. But that story, if nothing else, really sold me on, yeah, you love someone that much. How far would you go to save them? And then people and Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, absolutely was trying to do everything right to save his people, to save them from what he went through, the experiences he had to endure to get back home, killing thousands, tens of thousands of people just to make it back home. And then they all revolted and went against him. Just emotionally, and then the wife, the son, every piece of it tears at my heart. I love it at the end, and I hope someday they do a sequel where they show Dracula from the cave, who turned him into a vampire, meeting him way into the future, and him meeting a newer version of his wife. Absolutely enthralled me. It made me believe, or want to believe, that there are people that good out there.
I had not considered that for my list, but it's a very watchable movie.
It is.
I enjoy it. It's a great movie, and
It is a
might,
good movie.
I might actually just put it as my number 3 because
Can't do that now.
I can't do that now. I gotta come up
What did you have on your list?
Well,
as number
I
three?
had more just kind of this leftover tied for the rest of them. Now, there are a ton of vampire movies I've yet to see that I now need to see. I mean, when I saw this list, I'm
Right, right.
there's one that's like about like a take on like an old Western town or something. That looks very interesting. I want to see that.
Is that the
one.
Los Muertos
No.
with John Bon Jovi?
I think he's
No.
talking about the one, shoot,
Let's see, I might have it here.
From Dusk to Dawn.
No, it's not From Dusk Till
No.
Dawn. But here were just 3 others that were kind of swirling around in my brain.
All right.
I loved Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
So that's a great
That's
one.
That
my
was
number
a
4.
very good one. That was good. I also
Honorable mention for me.
honorable mention. I also honorable mention was Interview with a Vampire.
That's also
That was
an
good.
honorable mention.
However, Tom Cruise, he was not the right cast for that. Brad Pitt was. Kirsten Dunst was. Everything else was great. And Tom Cruise did a great job. He really did a nice job acting. He's a great actor in that. But his appearance, the Lestat needed to be more dark and sinister than blonde. It just didn't work for me as much. And the final honorable mention I've got to throw out there was one of Jim Carrey's first ever films.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
Vampire's Kiss? Oh, no.
Once Bitten.
Once Bitten.
Once Bitten. And I'm sure it does not hold, the test of time. If I were to watch it again, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is
So
terrible.
to do another honorable mention, I'll do Nicolas Cage's Vampire's Kiss.
All right. So we got to have number 3. Pick one of those 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3, if I had to pick it, boy, I'm okay. I'm going to go with, I will go with Interview with a Vampire.
I like it.
Okay, so my number 3 is Shadow of a Vampire.
Shadow of a Vampire.
Yeah, so basically it has John Malkovich playing the part of Monau.
Nosferatu. It's
It's basically like a mockumentary of Nosferatu. So John Malkovich plays the director Monau, and William Dafoe plays Max Schreck as the vampire, and it is a phenomenal movie when you take into consideration Nosferatu. And that would round out my top 3.
Outstanding. All right. I like it.
I'm trying to. Did none of us put in any of the Twilight movies?
There's
No,
a
those
reason
all
for
suck.
that.
What vampire twinkles in the sunlight?
I know. Yeah, they kind of.
I want to say, as a kid, it's like great entertainment.
No.
As an adult, it's
No.
not great entertainment.
Maybe if you're like a 12-year-old girl,
That's
it's a
what I
great
said,
entertainment.
As a kid.
I
You
read
said
all the
kid.
books. I read
As
all
a
the books
kid.
before they came out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you read the books, you know how a woman thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. True. That
Does he
is
like
true
me?
to
Does he
that.
not like me? What did I do wrong? Oh, I like him. He's pretty.
True.
This is how Noah reads, by the way.
Oh, one movie I've got to see is The Hunger.
Oh, yeah.
It's got David Bowie, Susan Sarandon.
We read about that last night.
Yeah,
Neither of us had seen it
it's
either.
very of the 80s, the sexual, that's going on in there.
Can you drop a rock in there?
You've got it.
I'm trying to
Want a
find
Darth
the
Vader or a
one.
Stormtrooper?
At this point, it doesn't matter.
All right, that's good because he's hardly legible.
Oh, here it is. Near Dark. That was the Western one.
Okay.
It's called Near Dark. It's a 1987 movie. It was a box office dud, but it's neo-Western, received critical praise, and eventually became a bona fide classic. So,
Might have to check that out.
Near Dark. I
Near
wanna
Dark.
check.
Sounds like Blade Runner.
You know what I did like a lot,
Well,
though, too?
Just that it wasn't a box office hit, or
It's considered the greatest of all time science
Sci-fi.
fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
The original Blade Runner. And, man, that's good. Someday that's going to be a topic.
You know, another good vampire movie that needs an honorable mention is 30 Days of Night?
that's freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's with Josh Hartnett in the
Harnett or something like
is that
that.
his name?
I always wonder whatever happened to his career.
He did something with Harrison Ford, like a buddy cop movie, and that was the last I ever saw of him.
Yeah.
And I saw that movie, and it was
Not so good?
Yeah, like the chemistry just wasn't there.
Yeah. Did you want ice?
No, I want to try it without ice.
Yeah. If you want it, Stormtrooper's here.
All right. So we got a few minutes left. So I guess Smarter Challenge?
We need a new Smarter Challenge.
All right. No.
New Smarter Challenge.
Smarter challenge.
I will say, though, I want to say this about, I love the Smarter Challenge.
Yes.
Because
See?
it educates you. I
Yeah.
mean, not that this is going to do anything for our life, and we've been educated on vampires,
By the way.
but it did force me to kind of look into it and be like, wow, I learned something. And I learned something that it entertains me as well. So I love it. So
Hey.
what do you got for us, Noah?
All right. So this comes from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think the Smarter Challenge this week is to compliment 5 people you do not know.
Wow. That feels good, though. Feels good when you do
Yeah.
good things.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
earlier, I don't know if it was a Smarter Challenge or not, but when you had a whole episode about kind of speaking about tipping and things like that. It didn't, I think I
Episode
spoke-
3.
Yeah.
Episode 3, like that's the
The
diamond.
diamond episode. It did. It inspired me to leave just a great tip and I felt so good.
For
'cause
great service.
For great service. That's what it was. It was great service. And so this will inspire me to now go try and find 5 people,
5 people, just compliment them.
just compliment them.
And be genuine about it. You know, you can't just be like, "Hey, you look nice," or,
Okay.
right? You got to be genuine about like complimenting someone.
Done.
Simple,
do it.
smarter challenge.
Yeah,
And
it's a simple, smart challenge.
And it has to be people we don't know,
people you don't know.
just that we come across.
And since you're not here next week, because I believe you said you're going to be out of town, right?
Yeah, we'll be up.
So
camping
just when we all reconvene, then you can.
that's
you can
when we'll
update
talk
us.
about
Yeah.
our 5 compliments.
Well, we'll talk about it, but then you can talk about yours.
I'll snag. I'll kind of
Yeah, it'll just like
seamlessly re-enter the
seamlessly.
the
read it.
podcast.
Send us a text and we can just read them off.
Yeah, you can do that too.
That way
Or we can call you up. I mean, there is a feature where
go.
we can call you and you can be on the phone.
Actually, you probably can't. There's zero reception.
Zero reception.
Yeah, over at
Oh.
Shadow Mountain, nothing.
he's like, Noah, don't ruin my vacation, bro.
But it will be,
Hey, man, is it really being like on a podcast with us, like during a vacation? I
no,
don't think so.
not at all. In fact, I rushed back from, well, I didn't rush back, but
Trinidad.
came back from Lake Trinidad. You guys put the hold on the podcast for one day, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, I think it worked out best for everybody because then we got the new mics in and all that stuff. So,
I like them.
yeah, aren't they pretty?
It's different.
I'm stroking my new mic.
Please stop.
Nice, and I kept mine upright the whole time. Nice and
Nice.
go there.
Family
Well,
show.
gentlemen,
I think I got
we're sitting right at an hour. We may have actually hit the time.
Yeah, I think
For
we
a
did.
shot.
I think we actually did well this time around.
We
So,
covered everything.
who wants to start the close off?
Brian, thank you for rushing back from Lake Trinidad.
thank you.
Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for a fantastic, well-grilled ribeye, asparagus drizzled with balsamic, soy sauce, and butter. Cooked perfectly dinner. It was fantastic. Really appreciate it. Awesome job with this. I agree with you. I love the smarter challenges. I think so as well, that it's like, well, you know what? Anything that makes me expand my mind, even if it's just revisiting something I saw when I was a kid, like Salem's Lot, thinking about that, man, it scared me to death. I couldn't sleep. This guy.
I still remember that. That is one of my first nightmares that I can remember as a child.
And I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
So these
You will be
pieces-
scared today if you watch it. You'd be like, really?
Yeah, it's
But you have to
terrible.
remember, I believe that would have come out when we were like 8 years old.
Yeah.
To an 8-year-old kid, that was some freaky stuff because the kids who disappeared were like about our age.
Yeah.
It was freaky.
At 7 years old, I was watching The Exorcist, and that freaked the beep
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
me.
me too. I also I
Yeah.
remember watching that and running to my bedroom and thinking my sister was the exorcist. I wasn't so far off, but
You must be talking about Jen.
yeah.
We were also watching a lot of Saturday Night Live back then. Our parents were
Yeah.
very into Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, yeah. My parents were into a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, thank you for a wonderful dinner.
Thank you for a wonderful scotch.
absolutely
Oh, yeah,
cheers.
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 The Lagavulin 9-year House Lannister, peaty, smoky, great golden color. I think at the end it's very smooth.
Yeah.
Gonna
So,
have to compare it off
16?
camera with the Lagavulin 8. I
Yes.
do want to see the difference between an 8 and
Oh,
a
yeah.
9, other than the $13 or something you pay.
so is that your final wrap up?
You know, I just want to thank everyone for listening, including Mila. I had a blast watching the show with you. Thank you, everyone who listened. Please leave us comments, suggestions, ideas, and have fun with us. And I pass on the baton to Noah. Brian.
Brian.
For me, I'll kind of end where we started because it ties into the Smarter Challenge. And I want to thank my son, Brendan, who is one of my 3 sons, and he's the only one, I think, who I asked to watch our podcast, and he did. And he also was the one who was very gracious and provided that awesome raffle
That was
drawing
super
reward.
sweet of him.
That's
That's
just
like,
I mean, it was so
kind.
cool. You should have seen these. I mean, I want to go into. I wish we had time. Okay, I got to go into a little bit more detail.
You're good.
okay.
We
So
got time.
what I did is I had a little slideshow, and I said, and here's how you earn your raffle tickets. So that was on there. You got your grades for 4th quarter, how well you work on your castle today, and then there was a final voting for like the best castle. And then I said, and it's a value of $200 graciously donated by my son Brendan. And I just kept the value of $200 slide up as they were working the whole time. And they were just like, oh my gosh, what is it? What is it? What is it? And so I said, okay, now guys, when I show you what this prize is, the rule is you cannot tell anybody. If anybody comes in my class and they know what the prize is, I might not give it away. So it was so cute because they didn't tell. Nobody came in. Nobody ever knew. And as I walked around the school, I'd hear kids be like, oh my gosh, it's like worth $200. Trust me, you want to win. Do a good job today. Because they knew what it was, but they wouldn't tell. And it just, Brendan's gift, that idea, like you said, for the smarter challenge of just doing something that's good out of your heart. It made a huge difference for my last day, for those kids' last day. And so I love the smarter challenge. I love being on the Scotch Hour. And I thank all of you for watching, and take the challenge. Go do 5 nice things, 5 compliments.
That's awesome. Hey, you know what? I am super happy that you're on the show with us now. Jesse and I have been talking for a while that we wanted you, that we wanted you to be on the show. And now that you're here, we love having you as a mainstay on the show. I know you're going to be gone next week, and it's only been 2 shows, but we totally love the fact that you're going to be on the show with us. And that's the whole reason why we invested more into more mics and stuff like that. So it's
so great just to hang out with. It's a perfect excuse to hang out with my 2 good friends. It's just, I love it.
It's a blast. I love it. I love doing this podcast with the both of you.
Yeah, whether we have any viewers or not.
Whether we have any viewers or not. It's total blast.
222 views on YouTube.
So far, that's not bad.
I've watched it 60 times. So if you watched it 66, so there's like 20 people out there that watched it.
It's 42.
All right, fine, 42.
So I just want to thank you for being part of the podcast. Yes. Jesse, thank you for jumping into the venture with me right away. Yes. And for those people who are out there watching us, thank you for being a fan and watching us or listening to us, or however you view or listen to our show. We are on video wise. We are on YouTube and Rumble. The audio versions. We're on Podbean, Google Podcast. We are on iTunes, I believe now, and Amazon Music. And I know I'm forgetting a couple. I used to rattle them all off.
Spotify.
Spotify. And
well, can I close with this?
Yeah.
Here's to years and years of the Scotch Hour.
Yeah, years and years of Scotch Hour. Yeah,
years and years. This is going to go on.
And if you haven't been, sorry, that was a great close. Sorry, I got those.
Secondary close.
Secondary close. I do have to say, if you do enjoy our podcast and you believe that we entertain you enough, please become a patron of our podcast. We have memberships starting as low as $1. There are different levels, and with each different level, there are different benefits that you get. And we would greatly appreciate it, and it would help us do things like rent out theaters for Top Gun 2 coming out. And
so psyched for that.
Yeah, aren't you both? That's gonna be so much fun.
Got my bomber jacket.
Yes, got your bomber jacket. Yes, for the whole family, I believe, right?
5 bomber jackets, 5 aviator shades, 5 volleyball wrap
So
hands.
it's all going to be part of. And if we can set it up with AMC Theater, we're going to do a live version of Scotch Hour there while we rent it out.
We can make it happen.
Yes, I think we can. So help you.
Help us make it happen.
Yeah, help us make it happen. And please, everyone, spread the word. We thank you so much for your help, and be part of the Smarter Challenge. Help brighten up 5 people's day that you don't even know. And with that, good night. And anything else?
All right, good
night.
Scotch
All right, good night. Cheers.
Here's your Scotch Hour.
Here's
Back
Scotch
to
Hour.
the original closing.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.